Zucker, and welcome to Inside College Football, presented by Rams, setting the lineup for the day. Coming up next at 3 o'clock Eastern, it's Autotrader.com College Football Today. That will be followed by a clash of SEC West unbeatens, #1 Alabama and #11 Ole Miss. And over on CBS Sports Network, a full slate of action, including all 3 service academies in action today. And after the games at 2 a.m. Eastern, it's Inside College Football. All right, the seismic activity started out west this week as Oregon's upset at the hands of Arizona rocked the Pac-12, and now the SEC will feel the rumbling. Today is certainly one of the biggest days for a single division in a conference that any of us can remember. It is Shakeout Saturday in the SEC West, as there are 3 head-to-head top 15 matchups on the schedule. Joining us to sort it all out, Spencer Tillman, Brian Jones, and a member of the SEC West who has the week off, so to speak, but he's working. Arkansas head coach Brett Bielema, thank you for making the trip up from Fayetteville.
Thank you. If the Razorbacks don't win this week, we got problems. This is the only time we can guarantee a little success, but it's a very tough conference, and as you're going to see, full slate today, just a great amount of respect among everybody.
For sure. First time it's ever happened with a division having 3 top 15 matchups like this, and we got to take a look at you guys making a big stride last week on CBS. Things were going so well for Coach Bielema and his Razorbacks, out rushing the Aggies, dominating time of possession, doing it your way, leading by 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. And then what we've seen from A&M, everyone's seen it. They unleashed the quick strike offense. They came away with the win in overtime. No moral victories in the SEC, Coach, but we saw a lot of good signs.
There are a lot of positive things. I think as coaches, it's fun to see the things we practice during the course of the week start to appear on Saturdays. We got to continue to build our depth. We got to continue to build confidence, but a lot of positive things going in the right direction right now.
Coach, you broached the idea of this whole building process as a leader. I'm intrigued and interested in how you have put this thing together and fashioned it in less than a year and a half. You've got it in your image. Smash mouth football the Arkansas way quickly.
Well, I think first you got to be unwavering in what you believe in. I think that I always get a chuckle when I'm reading new coaches, or as coaches are in transition, they talk about how they're changing what they're doing. We've stayed more of what we believe in. Our coaches have bought into it. Our players have bought into it, and the results are the things you begin to see now. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is.
Exciting time, and you get to scout Alabama here on CBS today. You're going to face them next week. You're going to be taking some notes as you host them, and it's quite a gauntlet in the SEC West. How do you prepare for that?
Well, I think during your out of season, you got to be relentless in your approach. You got to make sure the kids understand what's coming, because you can't just let one setback get you. It's about how you're going to respond to those situations, and hopefully we'll be able to master that next week.
And if it's not tough enough in the SEC West, you also get Georgia in a cross-divisional game this year as well. So let's turn now to our game today, Alabama and Ole Miss. This week, the Tide jumped past Florida State into the top spot in the coaches' poll. Game by game, Alabama seems to show greater balance and fewer weaknesses, and it all starts with Blake Sims at quarterback, BJ.
Well, you look at this Alabama offense, guys. They've got a diversified portfolio of offensive weapons and schemes, and it starts with this quarterback. No quarterback controversy here anymore. Look at his numbers as a first-year starter through 4 games. They're even better than the great A.J. McCarron when he got his first starts through 4 games in 2011. You look at the yardage, you look at the completion percentage, look at the touchdowns. It's all about Blake Sims and this high-powered offense that used to just, you're talking smash mouth earlier, Coach.
Yeah.
It used to hit you in the mouth for 4 quarters. Now it's about hitting you over the top with the long route.
And the graphic says it all. It's really about the balance they're able to achieve. I think, Coach, you've got the best 2 backs. I think the best 4 backs, including their freshmen, is what Alabama rolls out there every week, and that allows them to achieve that balance. You've put Amari Cooper on record-setting pace. It's been impressive, Coach.
It has. I think that's the difference when you have someone like Cooper on the outside, that you have to take special considerations on how you're going to defend him, which lightens the box, which makes everything a little bit more easy in the run game. So, and again, they're always going to be very blessed up front. I think what Blake's been able to come in and do is very impressive and very a great feather in the cap for those coaches.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing Alabama quarterbacks throw for 400 yards in a game. Now, for Ole Miss, remember last year? They were undefeated, feeling pretty good about themselves, maybe too good, so they started talking a little bit. #1 Alabama considered it bulletin board material, and the Tide went out and shellacked the Rebels 25-0. Fast forward to this week, Ole Miss senior safety Cody Pruitt said, "We don't really think Bama is as good as they have been. Other guys were more respectful. Spence, can the Rebels back up the talk this year, though?
Well, listen, they certainly have the capability of being able to do it, but the question is, will they do it or not? I think this game, the way it's playing out right now, is probably going to wind up, the defensive front is going to determine the outcome. Robert Kimgiche, he's the guy that's got to be the force and put pressure consistently on the quarterback in the backfield, run-stop situations. He's got to be active early in this contest. The way I see it playing out right now, going to be more reminiscent to the 2009. Houston Nutt had the best chance of beating them, and I think, Coach, to me, it's got to come back to that. Their offense failed, problems at quarterbacks, and then the defense stepped up for them.
Well, I think as you saw last week, Ole Miss, the miscues really cost them in the red zone. I know the game is won down there. It's about who can make the most points in that red zone attempts, and obviously if Ole Miss can do that, they'll have success.
How about this, Coach? Tell them to shut up. Quit talking. You don't taunt the alligator till you cross the river. They didn't learn their lesson a season ago.
Well, I got both these guys on my schedule yet, so I'm just staying neutral.
You're good. You're good. Honesty and confidence and wisdom. All right, when we come back, we'll tell you about BYU's tough break last night, and with Oregon's loss on Thursday night, how cloudy is the Pac-12's college football playoff picture? We'll tackle that issue and more in our line of scrimmage right after this.
Inside College Football, powered by Ram, is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
All right, welcome back to Inside College Football, powered by Ram. Not every coach gets to hang out in a cushy studio today, but Brett Bielema is, and he gets to do highlights with us. And, hey, Kevin Sumlin, saw him last week. I think you guys bruised him up pretty good because he's having trouble with Dan Mullen's team today, Coach.
Look at the eyes, Coach.
Big throwing lane right there, hits the guy open, and obviously capitalizing on those turnovers.
They had him 28-7. Mississippi State went on 34-10 right now in the third, 4:55 left.
Kenny Hill's thrown 2 picks already today. He had 2 picks coming in on the whole season prior to that. All right, BJ, rocky times for the Gators, especially today at Rocky Top.
Yeah, I told you not to pick them at the beginning of the season to be in that college football playoff. The third pick, that's right, 1, 2, 3 picks for Jeff Driscoll on the day. Todd Kelly gets that one, leads to a field goal. 3 field goals, and Mr. Driscoll has been replaced.
After those 3 picks.
Splinters in that hiney.
Florida has not been shut out, by the way, since 1988, 325 games, so we'll see there. All right, Spencer, Ohio State ruining Maryland's Big Ten home opener.
JT Bird passes over the middle into the end zone there. That's Devin Smith on the other end. That's a 30-yard score. Ohio State flying by the Terps 38-10. Now 38-17. 1:37 left in the third.
A little bit of life there from the Terps, but JT Barrett is lighting it up right now. In the meantime, BJ, a tough thing to watch last night. One of the stars of the game for BYU, lost for the year.
Coach Bielema, this one is tough to witness. Taysom Hill is having an outstanding season.
It is. Tough one, but obviously a part of the game. The real story here is Utah State's backup quarterback comes in, gets the upset victory, so kudos to him. Yeah,
Darryl Garrettson is that backup quarterback, 35-20 win for the Utes.
Yeah, he came in for Chucky Keaton.
The Aggies. I'm going to get in trouble for calling them the Utes, Hammer.
Right, especially with them. And Taysom Hill, we were told, was scheduled for surgery this morning. Now, Oregon getting into trouble against Arizona in a tie game. Anu Solomon gets sacked by Tony Washington, and he celebrates.
After the play.
It might have been when he looked over to that sideline, Spence, but Arizona gets new life.
Well, that's Jones Grigsby there in for the 1-yard score. Upset of Oregon 31-24, and the celebration is on, and the whole college football world on its ear now as a result of that one.
Yeah, a very popular pick to make it to the college football playoff goes down, and goes down for the 2nd straight year against Arizona. And that upset leads us to our line of scrimmage segment. When it comes to college football playoff selection, how damaging is the Ducks' loss to the conference as a whole? Oregon's stunning loss to Arizona may be a blow that the Pac-12 as a whole can't recover from, guys. They have 2 unbeatens left, UCLA and Arizona, next Saturday, and Oregon's going to visit UCLA. Arizona hosts USC. So in a week's time, the Pac-12 could have no undefeated teams at all.
Well, it's clear Oregon has the cachet in the conference. They've been on the national scene for a while now, so when you see them go down, that hurts a little bit of the prestige of the Pac-12. But you mentioned those 2 undefeated teams. UCLA sitting there looking pretty good. Everyone, a lot of us, I should say, had them ranked high going into the season.
Well, the saving grace for UCLA UCLA is they've got Brett Hundley, their quarterback, back. But for that, then it would have been totally a mess. And then we would be talking about the probability, likelihood of a SEC team being filled by more than just one or two teams. So right now, as it stands, UCLA is back in their court with their quarterback.
How about a story, though? You look at what's going on in Michigan right now, and look what Rich Rod has done at Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you talk about poetic justice. Now he goes into a system that he really thrives in and is making a huge statement on a big picture right there. I think it's just great. As coaches, that's what we try to look at a little bit more than anything.
Yeah, even extra painful for Wolverines fans. And, with 6 SEC West teams in this week's top 15, it's mounting that the SEC could happen to have more and more teams in that playoff. Michigan State doesn't benefit either with Oregon going down.
Well, Michigan State has a critical loss. And obviously, we're talking about the Big Ten by extension, I think is where your argument is going. They get damaged with the residual impact of that loss by Oregon as well. So that win over Michigan State doesn't look that impressive.
Right. Selection committee is going to be judging all of those factors. And with those 6 SEC West teams in this week's top 15, we turn to our interactive question of the week. How many teams from that division will make the college football playoff this season? 0, 1, or 2. You cannot choose 5. You cannot choose 5. Be sure to cast your vote now at facebook.com/CBS Sports. We're going to be updating the results throughout the day. And, Coach, we got these Microsoft Surface tablets here if you want to,
Cast my vote.
Cast your vote. Get on there. All right. When we come back, Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace has been wildly inconsistent, yet today he could take a huge leap forward, restoring the Ole Miss program back to the glory days of Archie and Eli. For any Ole Miss quarterback not named Archie or Eli Manning, the shadow of history looms large. But for senior quarterback Bo Wallace, the history he has to face is personal. As he gets ready to play the biggest game of his career, Wallace has a chance to write his own name into Rebels lore, as long as he can make his erratic play a thing of the past.
Life with a QB gunslinger ain't easy. Take it from Ole Miss fans. They've been teased and tortured by Bo Wallace since 2012. Flashes of promise and potential undercut by the big mistake.
Wallace wants to throw, fires over the middle. It's high and intercepted at the 50-yard line.
Highlights are nice, but consistency builds winning programs.
Caught at the 25.
I definitely hear the criticism. I hear how people think that I try to force too many balls or make too many plays. I can agree with that to some point, but at the end of the day, it's because I'm trying to win games.
He's in the end zone.
If you win one game a year at Ole Miss, it better be the annual Egg Bowl against Mississippi State. But in 2013, inconsistent Bo took the field, and the Rebels suffered a demoralizing 17-10 loss.
I think about that Egg Bowl game every single day.
Left hash. Fake on the handoff. Wallace wants to throw, fires over the middle. It's high and intercepted.
It's really drove me during the offseason. It pushed me during the offseason.
In the gun again. Fakes the handoff. Keeps it. Runs off the right side. He's the 5. He's in the 2. Fumbles in the end zone. And Mississippi State recovers. And that's the ball game. The Bulldogs are bowl eligible.
As soon as that happened, I sent Coach Freeze a text message on the way home saying I promise I'll never let anything like this happen again. And it's really what drove me the whole offseason, and it drives me every single day.
Now it's Alabama and Ole Miss, a game that last season had Wallace predicting an offensive explosion by the Rebels. Instead, Ole Miss was shut out for the first time in 15 years.
There's the snap. He has time in the pocket. Has time. Steps up. He's hit from behind. The ball's on the ground and picked up by Alabama.
I think, with the comments last year, it was, me supporting my team and being confident in my team. And, I don't know what people want me to do. Do they want me to not have confidence in my team? But I'm never going to do that. I'm confident in my guys. And, I know that they're out there, doing everything that they can to put points up. And everything that I said last year was totally taken out of context.
This year's matchup presents an opportunity for something perhaps sweeter than victory: redemption.
I think at the end of the day, you're going to be judged on, what you do against great teams and top 10 teams and big moments and big games that can take your school and program to another level. So that's what this game is Saturday for myself. It's, a test for me and a test to see, how far that we can take this program.
Guys, is it just me, or was that Tebow-esque?
Wow.
I mean, that guaranteeing him taking ownership of his performance a year ago. I think, Coach, that may bode well for the young man as he heads into another big matchup versus Alabama.
You know what it shows? It shows the quarterback position. You get way too much credit when you win. You get way too much blame when you lose. But today's game is going to be about, it's not what necessarily happens, it's how you react to what happens.
Yeah.
When you play a team like Alabama, they're very good on defense. You got to make something when the times get tough.
Well, the big difference is between when Tim Tebow said what he said, he was orchestrating a run-based spread attack. This is a passing-based spread attack. He's going to be asked to do much more. And talking to Hugh Freeze earlier this week, he told me he's had 2 good games where he's had great, phenomenal success, and then the last game and a half has not been so much. He's got to be phenomenal once again.
Man, a couple of phenomenal fourth quarters already this year, too. When we come back, we need a quarterback to round out our team. We'll hear from Gary Danielson in Oxford after this. You're a big NASCAR guy.
Love it.
You have time for a long race on a Sunday afternoon?
When we get going here next week, there'll be TiVo'd and watch late at night. I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a big Ole Miss guy. I've always been a 24 and 88 follower. Got to play around the golf with Denny Hamlin and Stenhouse and Danica Patrick this summer, so that was a neat experience.
As a head coach in the SEC, I mean, you can take on celebrity status yourself, but what's it like when you do run into a NASCAR driver or an actor or something like that?
They're normal, just like the SEC head coaches are normal guys, really. Super people, super guys, and they're going to be coming to a game this fall and look forward to having them there.
And now he's very focused on football, and let's just say that today's matchup with Alabama is Hugh Freeze's Daytona 500. And speaking of Coach Freeze, he received a 45th birthday gift last Saturday when Ole Miss improved to 4-0 for the first time since 1970. And if they win today, the Rebels would be 5-0 for the first time since 1962. Neither Hugh Freeze nor anyone in the studio was alive at that time. But you know who was? Gary Danielson, and he joins us from the broadcast booth in Oxford now. Gary, it is great to be with you. And look, you know, we saw what happened between these two teams last year. Is this Ole Miss team for real?
I'm going to give you some expert commentary. Yep. They are. You know, there's a lot of good football teams in this conference. You guys know as well as I do. I think it's going to come down to breaks, turnovers. You know, Coach Brett right next to you. Big plays that could have been made that weren't made. I see this competition much like, you know, the NFL, where the only difference in college football, the NFL, is in the NFL you can go 10-6 and make the playoffs. In college football, you might be able to lose one. I mean, this is real football, and everybody's capable of beating everybody else.
Gary, I'm very excited to watch today's game and see the pace of play by Alabama. To be quite honest, you know, they've talked about going a little bit up tempo, and I'm just going to be intrigued to see in a big game like this if they do stay with that thought process when the times get tough.
You know, Brett, they may. I wonder, though, because they're going to be playing on the road with a, you know, boisterous crowd for the first time. And, you know, it doesn't come naturally. It has to be kind of learned and ingrained into the program. I kind of believe that if it works early, they may stay with it. However, you know how coaches are. You're one yourself. If things don't go well, they usually revert back to what they do and they know has worked in the past. And I got to believe the longer this game goes on, if Ole Miss keeps it close or Alabama isn't running away with it, you know, if it's a close football game, Alabama will go back to running the ball because that's what's given him success in the past.
Hey, Gary, we're calling this Shakeout Saturday. We saw a big shake-up this past Thursday with Oregon going down to Arizona. What does that do to the landscape of college football?
Well, you know, in 2007, everything broke right for LSU when they had 2 losses and they went to the championship. In 2011, everything broke right for Alabama. It appears, starting out this season, that everything is breaking right for the SEC. I mean, they obviously are going to get one team in. I mean, that's a given. The possibility of getting 2 teams in now with these upsets, and the more things happen and the longer these teams from the West can continue to play good football and show that they have great athletes on the field, more and more people will say, you know, after the first 3 teams are taken, when it gets to that 4th pick, will it be a conference champion or will it be the second best team from the SEC? Watch that Notre Dame game against Stanford. If Notre Dame knocks off Stanford, you know, that could get right down to the end because Notre Dame will be for real then.
Gary Spencer here. You're a Big Ten guy. What do you make of the difficulty right now for Brady Hoke in Michigan? It is very difficult. He started out like gangbusters, a thrilling win over Notre Dame to start things out. They beat Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl that year and, of course, performed well. But then it's been downhill since then.
Yeah, Spence, I really don't know what to say. I'm a little bit surprised. You know, I've known Brady for a long time. I mean, you know, he's won at every level coaching. You know, Brett's good friends with him also and faced each other as both head coaches and assistant coaches. And I'm kind of surprised that they have not been able to reload quicker. You know, I have to say this last week, I totally absolve Coach Hoke on what happened on the sideline. These coaches are focused in on the game, and they have a protocol set up with doctors and trainers that when you put a player in, you assume when you call his name, if he's not able to play, he doesn't go on the field. So when you call his name, and I know the high character of Brady, and also, you know, Coach Doug Nussmeier. I mean, I've met a lot of people in college coaching, but Doug is about as high a character, and that's one of his guys, and he would never send one of his guys on the field if he thought it would risk another injury. So, you know, there's a lot of facets here. When you don't win, everybody talks about it, but we do know these head injuries are serious, and Michigan is right to look at every part of their protocol.
Yeah, you wonder if it would be as big a story if they were 5-0 right now. Michigan at Rutgers tonight. And Gary, we will see you in just over 30 minutes. Thanks again.
All right,
and
guys,
as we head to break, we want to congratulate our longtime associate producer, Mark Burkhart, and his wife, Lauren. Last night, Lauren did some top-notch producing of her own, guys. Welcoming twins Caroline Alexis on the left and Will Steven on the right. Nice. Also earlier in the week, our Vice President of Remote Production, Steve Karasek, his wife, Alyssa, and big brother, Eli, welcome baby Benjamin into the ever-growing CBS family. Time to step aside here for a few moments. We got some diapers to change. Autotrader.com College Football Today is coming your way after this message and a word from your local station.